Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about. Oh, my dog bothering me. Nope, go on. You can't be. You're loud. Go away. Today we're going to be talking about. Speaking of loud, we're going to be talking about how to add audio to our animations. So we've learned the basics of keyframing. We've learned how to make our objects move and rotate, and even give them a little bit of skeletal structure. So we're going to take that next step to making a complete finished animation and add sound. Specifically today, I'm going to be talking about adding a soundtrack. Now, there's two things that we have to consider when adding sound. The first is where our sound is going to come from. So in this class, I prefer that you guys use royalty-free music or music that's free of copyright. The reason for that is if I ever wanted to show any of your artwork, or if I wanted to submit your artwork to a competition or allow TA to use it, it needs to be copyright free. If you use copyright music in your animations, then I can't share it with anyone, which would be too bad, especially if you guys come up with some really great stuff that we want to show other people. There are many websites out there for copyright free music, but three that I have found work well for this class are Free Music Archive. That's one of them, freemusicarchive.org. And as we're watching, you may want to write these three guys down because they're really useful websites to keep track of. Ben Sound, royalty free music, and that is bensound.com. A bunch of different categories that you can search and music that you could find. And then my personal favorite, the one that I think has the biggest selection and works the best, is freesound.org. Freesound.org is great because not only does it have a lot of music, but it also has a lot of sound effects. So we can add sound effects to our scenes as well, our animations as well. The only problem with Freesound is that it requires a login. So I'm going to go to my sticky notes, and I'm going to add a note here. Or you guys can feel free to add this to your notes. Audio websites. We have bensound.com. We have freemusicarchive.org. Oh, I didn't pull exit out of that. freemusicarchive.org. And let's see. freesound.org. freesound.org. Okay. So, for freesound.org, our login is TA3dart, and the password is John Cena, all lowercase. I did not come up with this password. This password was invented by last year's 3D art and animation class when John Cena memes were still popular. So I am not responsible for that password, but this is the login information you're going to want to write down and remember for freesound.org. Okay, so I'm going to go into Freesound, and I am going to look for see what this music box is like. That's what we're going to use. We're going to use this music box. I'm going to go into the music box. I am going to click download. Maybe. I would like to save this. I will save it to my desktop. And there it is. So this is the file that we want to get into Blender. Now, just to show you guys what I've got set up in Blender, I've done my own animation here. So we play this guy. I'm just going to show you guys what this looks like. And right now, it lacks sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that little music box waltz to this scene. And to do that, it's really simple. All we have to do is change our view, our layout, to the video editing view. And I'm going to go back to frame 1. And I am simply going to go to Add Sound. And then I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to find this sound strip. And there we go. There's our sound. So let's render this guy. we want to, I'm going to go back to default view just because that's easier for me to see. So I'm going to go to render. I am going to make sure that this is rendering to, we'll send it to Blender. And we will call this chess pawns. Make sure we're rendering in this case as H.264 and animation. So while that's rendering, that's got 250 frames to go through. There's a few properties that we have for our audio. I wonder if this will let me change views while it's rendering. Okay, it will. All right. So while I'm looking at my audio file, there's a few things that I can do with this audio file. I can change the volume of it. I can change the pitch. The pitch is the specific note or frequency at which it's played, so we can raise the pitch up or down. And I can also change the start and end time of my music. So if I wanted to shorten this or increase it, I could trim the what am I trying to say? Trim the sounds. Trim the start and end time. What's really neat about this is all of these things can be keyframed. So for example, keyframing volume is a really great way to fade out our music. If I wanted to, I could go to, maybe if I wanted to have a 15 frame fade out, I could go to the last 15 frames in my animation, right? So I could come somewhere out here at the end of my animation, and I could keyframe volume by pressing I, and that would create a keyframe for volume. And then I could move to the end of my animation and drop the volume down to 0 and keyframe it again. And that will allow my volume to slowly fade out. It looks like this guy's going to go all... Oh, we're almost done. Then we will take a look at our finished product. Okay, so let's go take a look at how that turned out. Blender, chess pawns, and we are not getting any sound because Mr. Smith forgot a very important step. We need to go back to the default view, and we need to look for a checkbox in our render settings that allows us to add audio. Where is audio checkbox? Audio codec. Here we go. So one thing that we have to do is if we do not set an audio codec, then the audio will not play. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a MP3 audio codec, format ADI. Okay, that all looks good. If I change this, MPEG, same thing. Okay, we'll change it back to H.264. We will render one more time. And this time, I'll cut this stuff out so you don't have to see it. We will skip to the end. Okay, with the animation complete, let's see how we did now. There we go. So we need to make sure we had an audio codec set up. But as long as we do, then our animation will render with the audio. And that's all there is to it. Audio is relatively simple. You guys can experiment around with keyframing those volumes to get the music to fade in and out if you would like. But the whole goal of this is to show off a little bit more of the video editor and to be able to add audio to our scene so that when we render, we can have some nice music or sound effects playing with our animation. Thanks for watching.